How does it feel to be on this side of the camera?
Don't like it. Don't like it at all. At all. What would you, if you did not know me, what would you want to hear from this conversation?
Well, I want to hear just about his journey just in Black man in media. And then what has been the journey, right? Like of him actually doing that, right?
Oh, guys, also, I'm going to do 2 intros, same spot.
And also, like, what was the decision to make it be centered on Black men, like the quintessential gentleman?
Yeah. You know, what I think was fascinating is like you never really meet people that have magazines.
Right. We're back at it again. I've never met Eric before, so I don't think Jeremy's ever met him either.
Okay.
Yeah. That's gonna be so interesting. Hello. I'm good.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Nice
Brittany.
to meet you. Hi, Kendra.
How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I was like, he's taking some time because you were all cute and stuff.
No, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know how I had to do it. I'm just like, it is a journey. All right, we are over here. Hello, everybody. Eric is here.
Hey, how are you?
KJ is here.
How you doing? Nice to meet you, Eric. Eric, nice to meet you. Hey, how are you?
This is Eric,
Eric,
everyone.
nice to meet you. Christina.
You know, I'm trying.
Eric.
You know, listen.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Hey, everybody. The Quintessential Gentleman is a platform that was created to illuminate the elevation of Black and brown men. The founder, Eric Keith, who is someone I've personally been in awe over the past few years, is the mastermind behind one of the most prominent cultural platforms of our time. Check this out.
Elite, elegant, fashion, iconic. These are a few words that I would use to describe a magazine that was created to elevate the stories of Black men across the world. At the young age of 38, Eric Keith has been on a mission that has turned into one of the most sought-out Black platforms in modern media. In just a few years, his vision has garnered the attention of some notable figures like Charlemagne the God, Jermaine Dupri, Marcus Scribner, and David Allen Greer, just to name a few. Born in Philadelphia, this editor-in-chief understood what it was like to live in a world where people couldn't see themselves, and he made it a point to be a part of changing the narrative for Black and brown men. Today, in Los Angeles, Jeremy sat down with the creator behind the Quintessential Gentleman to have an open conversation about identity, influence, Black masculinity, and what it really takes to build cultural authority from nothing.
Eric Keith.
What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm good. Welcome. I have to say, I'm really honored that you decided to come and have a conversation with me because I've seen you really build this platform into something of substance, you know? So what made you want to do this?
You know, first hearing this idea of what the Quintessential Gentleman is based off of like your interpretation or what you perceive it to be is amazing, because that was the goal, right? To be this platform where Black men could be seen, they could be heard, and they could be celebrated. And, you know, I was like, wow, just hearing that, I'm like, I feel really, really good. I feel really good as a Black man. I feel really good to get the recognition that I'm getting now for supporting other Black men and for giving them their flowers.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, thank you for inviting me to be here. And then I guess secondly, I wanted to create something that I felt was missing in the industry. And I feel as though there were other people who would promote Black men, or they would, you know, speak about the things that they have going on. However, it was not exclusive. It was not a platform where only Black men were being spoken of. And I was like, why don't we have something like that? So when I created it, it was just a blog. I didn't intend on it being a magazine per se. I just wanted to kind of see if I could create this community, this space where Black men could see themselves. I always say that the Quintessential Gentleman is something that I wish I had when I was in college, when I was in high school, something I can look to as it pertains to seeing Black people who are successful, specifically Black men, and the things that they were able to do. But then also, like, getting the behind the scenes of like how they got there, what were the things that they did, what were the challenges, what were the things that they did to overcome them. So that's what really gave me the idea to create it, because I wanted to see something that, you know, was interesting to me.
Yeah. What was the catalyst though? Because like when you mentioned one, there was something missing. So what was the thing that was missing that you identified, and what was the ultimate catalyst to say, okay, I'm gonna put my eggs in this basket and I'm gonna trust the vision? Because I'm sure it was like something that you felt, or something that you felt called to do in some respects. Or did you even know that at the time?
I didn't know it at the time, for sure. I just, you know, you were young. I just moved to New York in 2015. So I actually came up with the idea in 2015 when I first moved to New York. And then I actually went live 2016. So it was around fall, winter 2015. And then February 29th, which is a leap year, 2016. So technically we 10 years, but it's like 2.5 if you do the math. But you know, I just was like, oh, I think this would be amazing to have this space. And the catalyst for me was the depiction of Black men in media at that time, right? Like, if you think about it, that's during the time of Black men being killed by police. And it's not that this was different, it's been happening for a very long time, but you have the development of technology, which is smartphones, where we're recording it, right? We're able to see it. Then you have social media that is spreading it. So we're able to see it. We're feeling it so much differently than we have in the past of you reading a newspaper or hearing on the news or things like that. So there was that piece of it. That had the depiction in the media. Then it was a piece of it where when you saw Black men in the media, it was jail, or they're in prison, or a criminal. Then there were so many things on social media along the lines of Black men not wanting to be in their kids' life and not wanting to be fathers and all these type of things. You know, I always say my father, he's my stepfather, but he's been in my life since I was 2 years old and has always been there. So this idea that Black men don't want to be in their kids' lives, I didn't understand that. I didn't grow up with that. It was a different perspective. So when I initially started it, it was to change those narratives that were created, you know, through media depiction.
I get that. Yeah. Where do you think those narratives then stem from? Like, do you know, because I have my personal thoughts about it.
Sure.
You know, I think how I describe it is Black men are not, generally speaking, have not been given permission to explore their emotional bandwidth, their emotional awareness. And so what you end up happening, I've learned this, my emotions are kind of like my GPS for life.
Yeah.
So if I don't have an internal GPS, right, then I succumb to the ideas or the perceptive or the perspective that the world kind of bestows upon me, because I have no internal validation, no internal guidance. And so I have to then pick up these arbitrary ideas of what it means to A, be masculine, and then to B, be Black.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you find that to be kind of the case as well? Or like, where do you think those narratives came from, in your opinion?
It's a loaded question.
And I'm here to help you unpack it.
I'm gonna say, I'll kind of pick it apart, right? I feel as though, first of all, we understand that the media is sensationalized, right? So they want to give you the stories that are, I mean, we see it now, social media with the trauma porn that a lot of platforms choose to, you know, use.
If you're gonna talk about trauma, at least know what you're talking about.
Know what you're talking about. Also be educated in being able to understand where it stems from, and also be able to understand the only outlet that the person may have for whatever it is, right? So I think for me, when it comes to Black men, originally, it was these particular stories that you're telling are so drastic, and let's make them norm because this is what happens in the lives of Black people, and Black men, you know, are not in their kid's life, and they don't want to marry Black women, or they don't want to be associated with their Blackness, or if they are associated with their Blackness, it's hood, it's ghetto, it's all of those things. You know, I was born in Philly, sure, but my parents both worked really, really hard, and we moved to South Jersey, you know, having a better livelihood for themselves, but then also for their kids. They like my parents say they did not want me to go to high school in Philly because of the particular high school, so they moved us to New Jersey, right, for a better education. And you know, then I was surrounded by people that didn't look like me, and I think that what that shows for me is that, one, the work ethic of both of my parents are, I say they're off the boat, but my mother was born in Trinidad, my father was born in Nigeria, and they worked hard to give us a better life. And so when I see these conversations that's always in the media about, this person's light got cut off, or these extreme situations of poor, it's always associated with Black. Whereas you have Black people who have worked hard to not be in those type of situations. So I always say that the Quintessential Gentleman is a luxury brand. Like, I love to put us as, to show us in a different light than what's being depicted, because.
And it shows. When I look at the big magazine covers, I say, God damn, that look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, the covers are really good. Like,
There's
so much quality and stuff. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
No. It's intentional because, I have a background. I have family that's in those type of circumstances, but it doesn't mean that that's everybody. And I feel like we don't see enough of the Black people as a whole, but then specifically Black men who are doing great things, who are working hard, who are trying not to succumb to what the system has dictated what their life would be.
And then stay right there. So then what effect do you think that lack in the media portrayed that has on the average person?
Visibility. I mean, if you're talking about Black person, you don't see anything that you can't be, right? So it's like, I'm not seeing that this person could be, I think there's an entertainment side of it, right? Where it's like, I could be an athlete, I could be a celebrity for, entertainer, an actor, all those type of things. But what about the person that owns a magazine? What about the person who owns a tech company? I love the birth of, the influencers, and now they're creating their own generational wealth based off of what they're able to obtain off of with social media and things like that. But we didn't have that representation of what Black men could be. And I think that when you don't see it, it's very hard for you to achieve it. Yeah. Not saying it's impossible, but once you start seeing it, it's like, I could be just like that. I love that. It's definitely different.
It's so funny. When I was thinking about going to law school, because it came later in life, I now realize I was kind of called to do it. So I've realized, okay, sometimes your calling will pull on you. Yeah. But one of the reasons I put it off for so long, honestly, I didn't want to have a boring career, because the perception of law just seemed very white to me, and it was like, that's not who I am. So I think I struggled with finding myself. I had a conversation with Brittany and a couple of my other friends before I went, and I was like, is being a lawyer boring? Like, and my idea of I couldn't see myself fitting into just how I know myself to be, because I'm really in tune with myself. So it's like, I don't do anything just to do it, And then she said to me, she was like, no, it's not boring because you're not boring. You're going to be a lawyer regardless of who you are. You just have to embody who you are in that role. And I was like, okay, and I think it translates into what you're saying, where it's so important to have something to look up to. Because if you don't have that, it's kind of internal, I'll figure it out, or you haven't been exposed to that, you really just succumb to the ideas that are put around you, because visibility is really, really important. Yeah. Okay, so fast forward. You start this magazine.
Yes.
All right. Now you're interviewing some heavy hitters on your magazine. What does it take for you personally as a Black man then to be able to follow your dreams in a way that is so sensationalized? Because I know it's really, really hard work. That's what I know. Yeah. So how do you manage it all? What does it look like to you to be able to do this and do it consistently and in such high quality? We'll start there.
Intentional is a piece of it, right? I always say this, I am always anxious. I just have that, I think that there's a term for it, but I'm always anxious. I always am challenged with trying to figure out how I can move the needle, not because of society, but just my personal thing. I want to do something dope. I want to make it happen. However, I'm fearful, right? And that's something that through therapy and through just lived experiences, I'm working towards. Not 100% there yet. Every time, I'll tell my team all the time, we just released a cover last week, and every time I release a cover, I literally turn my phone off. I turn my phone off. Couple hours, because I don't know what the response is going to be. And it's something that I've been looking at, let's say this particular cover for 3 weeks now. We're doing edits, we're going back and forth, we're making it, and then at this point I'm just like, all right, we got to get this out, right? And
because when you look at it, you see all the flaws.
I see all the flaws. I see, we could have did this better, all this didn't happen. It's like, I know that it's great. Minimally, I know that it's great. I know I don't put out bad work. However, I feel like even as high as it could be or as great as it could be, there's little things that, you know, I'm over, I think could be done better, right? And I think there's a piece of perfectionism that trying to release, trying to let go of. But so I say that to say that I will go ahead and put something out and then I can't see it. I don't, and I'll text, you know, my team, how's it doing?
Yeah.
What are the comments? How, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how people are going to
Because you're
perceive
managing
it.
your internal emotional state.
I have to,
You have to.
because I will always, I'm an Aquarius. Anyone that knows about, you know, astrological signs, we are over analyzers, or we live in our head. So I'm always analyzing, like, what does this mean? I think that I'm getting into a place now, which is recently, it's 10 years. And I'm now getting to a place where it's like, wow, I know what I'm doing. I trust people, I'm hiring people, the people around me know what they're doing. They're good at what they do and it's intentional, right? So I'm literally working hard, not necessarily to create the thing anymore, because I now feel like I've created it, but I'm now trying to figure out more intentionally about the team around me who can start to see the things that I don't see, and they are good at what they do. And I think I've now elevated to where it's like, it's just me, to where it's like, okay, my team. And I feel like there's always this in my head, you know, growing up, it's like, there's always this concept, oh, he Hollywood, or oh, so when people come to me and they come directly to me having those type of conversations or want to have business or things like that, I'm like, oh, I could take care of it, or oh, I'll send you an email, oh, I'll do that. And I'm doing so much myself that now my team is young, like, I'm here for a reason, like, send them to me, let's do this. But there's a flip side where I'm like, I just don't want to be that person. I'm not, but then it's also like, how are you going to manage your business? You have to operate in that space because you can't do everything.
You know what's crazy? Like, you really have to do that. But nobody understands like what it takes for you personally to get to that point, because that's where the growth is for you. You have to grow from being somebody who knows how to hustle, who knows how to be the worker, to realizing that your capacity is so limited. And so like, if I don't just delegate things, and then really what it is to trust people with your vision. Right? And to trust them to bring themselves into it takes a lot of internal stuff to do. You know, it's not easy to do. Like, I'm learning how to do that. I was in law school, like, took over my dad's business. I'm doing this show. So I was running like 3 different things at the same time. And like, there's days when I'm just like really crashing out to myself. And really just like, the weight of the responsibility is so heavy because you got to get everything done, but there's only one of you.
Only one of you.
You know?
And I think to answer your question in terms of like how I got here, how I was able to do that, it was one, was doing it, you know, a lot of it is figuring out on my own, but there's people that came along the way that have been able to help, right? So I have so many people who have been through the life of the Quintessential Gentleman that have helped me. Everybody's kind of elevated and everyone's tried to put their 2 cents in and work with different team members to kind of build those things. And I think that also has been the support of people seeing what I'm doing. Because, you know, if I ask someone right now, give me a Black men's magazine, they're like, you know, they if they give you one, if they think of one, you know, it's very minimal. But then I tell them, you know, okay, now give me a white men's magazine or a white woman's magazine, or you go to the newsstand and you see so many of them, and it's not as if I'm the only one doing it. I don't want to be the only one doing it. There is room for all of us to eat. So when you have minimum representation, it's like people are seeing it and they appreciate it, and they're like, okay, how can we either one, help support it, or two, more on the publicist side, they're trying to get their clients to talk to us. But I've been very intentional about the type of conversations I want to have with talent, right? Like, I don't want to have, you know, superficial conversations. We do a lot with, we've kind of moved into this political space. You know, we have interviewed the mayor of Atlanta, we've interviewed the mayor of Baltimore. We have a couple interviews coming up with some prominent Black men in politics. So it's very intentional for me to show Black men in just various different ways, but also working hard at being a better person.
How has that changed direction, if at all, entering into slightly more of a political sphere, right? Like, how has that elevated, changed the course of how you all envision the magazine kind of evolving in the future?
When I first started the Quintessential Gentleman, I did not want to interview. I didn't want to talk anything about negative. I didn't want no negative news. I didn't want nothing, nothing bad, like nothing salacious. It just, that was not, I felt like you could go to blogs for that. You could go to the news for that. It's all about positive. It wasn't until the pandemic, and also it was during the pandemic, and it was the end of President Trump's first campaign that I realized by not saying anything, I'm complicit.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to speak on those things, you became complicit in not being able to provide enough knowledge for the people and your audience. So during the pandemic was really where I changed the trajectory as it pertains to the content that we share. We were talking about the Black Lives Matter. We were going live from Black Lives Matter. We were sharing those things. When George Floyd got killed, we were sharing, it was very, I always say too, like that was a very hard time for me doing what I do as it pertains to covering those stories, because I was in New York, which is the epicenter of the coronavirus. I was living in a studio by myself, and I had to constantly, because I chose to, but to inform my audience of what was happening. Other people could just turn off the news. I'm not watching this on social media, but because this was my job and how I was working towards it, it was very hard to constantly see these things that were happening and these viral moments. So that was tough for me, but that was the moment where I kind of changed into, okay, we can't just do positive news because that's not real life. Then we go, we fast forward into Kamala Harris running for president. And to me, we've done little political stuff before. I have a poli-sci, degree. I love politics. I love those conversations and how those things work. But it wasn't until she was running for president that I saw so many inaccuracies. I saw so many misinformation being spread about her, especially with Black men. And everyone's like, oh, she's locking up Black men, because they're doing these minimum crimes or not doing crimes at all. And I said, no, we can't do that. So I intentionally started to make sure we promoted content, specifically understanding this is what the facts are. Not to sway you either type of way, but this is what is actually happening. This is accurate. Yeah. And that changed how I started to realize that Black men were not getting the information from a reliable source. And now we're in a space that we are now able, I would say we're kind of like a news station for Black men now. We have different components, right? We have a blogging site where we talk about, things all day. We post every day about various different things that are interesting to Black men, which is more on the news side. Then we have an editorial, we have events, we do cover stories, things like that. But now when I look at the Quintessential Gentleman, it's like, okay, this is a space for Black men to know what's going on, what's going on in their world, but also things that affect them. So it may not just be we're featuring a Black person. You may see someone that doesn't look like you, but the information will be of interest to you. Right? So that becomes our new mission, is sharing that particular space, which is different than we had before. But I also feel as though it's important for us to also get into understanding the lifestyle of Black men. So that's kind of the space we're moving in now. I think we've done a lot with, we always do entertainment, TV, film. That's kind of like our bread and butter. We moved into the acting space, we moved into the political space. And then now I want to start getting into the lifestyle space. I want to breathe a little bit. I think we've been really heavy. And now we're starting to get a little bit more casual. We're starting to have more conversations about, what is it like to be a Black man? Clearly we have the politics that's happening that's affecting us directly now. So we're always going to cover that. But, it's like, where are some places that we should be, outside of the country? What is it like to travel? And we did that earlier on, but I want to get back to those type of roots as well, and have more of a full dynamic of what the Black male experience is in America.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned getting into the political space, mainly because I think it's important, because what I think the other side always does, whatever side you're talking about, they try to demonize the person in the eyes of their audience, right? The reason why I feel like that's problematic is because show me a perfect person, right? I'm not perfect. There are things that I may have done 20 years ago that if someone were to put it on a screen would distract you from saying like the work that I do. And I think it's so important and negligent for people to say, I don't believe in voting because this person may have done this, which you, like you said, it may be also, you have the facts misconstrued because a lot of people, unfortunately, whether they realize it or not, act off of intense emotion and don't even realize it. And so it's easy for someone to come and say, well, this person has locked up this many black men. You know, you learn so much over your career, whether you are in media, whether you work at the post office, whether you work in law, you're gonna make mistakes. That is one of the most inevitable realities of the human experience. And so to define somebody by a moment that they've made in their career that they may have done unjust or they may have done ignorantly just because immaturity or just unknowingness or lack of guidance, and to rob them of the opportunity of seeing them as they are for the candidacy, I think is really, really important that we kind of educate people that that's not the way to look at voting. You really have to be on some levels educated on what you're voting for, and also the opposing side of what you're getting yourself into, because everything stems from law and politics, whether we like it or not. So to say you're not involved in politics, well, politics are going to be involved with you.
Listen, politics, and they gonna whoop you behind if you are not aware of what's at stake, right? And I think it's so interesting and frustrating when people say that they're not involved in politics and they don't vote and things like that. And I'm like, you have no idea what that vote matters to you from a local level, from if you're in entrepreneurship, what grants, what loans, what your taxes are, all of those things matter. And I think it's very unfortunate for us to really not pay attention to that, and also not to galvanize, for us not to understand that we are important and our vote matters, and the things that are happening in this world and specifically in this country are the offset of either you not voting or you are voting, right? I feel like as a community, I don't want to say we regress, but I think because of how much progress we have made, people don't realize what work it took to get there. And then also how easily it can be taken. We are literally looking at the country being moved backwards, in real time. And it's just these little things here and there. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, wow, you can't marry the person you love if you're, LGBTQ plus, right? Or if you are, DEI, your job, affirmative action, they won't even look at you, regardless of the accolades you have. You don't even get in the door. The unemployment rate for the black population is at an all-time high. There are real things. These are livelihoods, and I don't think people are really understanding what's happening.
I think it's because of our privilege. I think privilege can be, and I want to use the word privilege in its proper context here. When I say privilege, I mean American privilege. As someone who has roots like in Ghana, and I've traveled a lot, I think we don't realize the level of, at least for the most part, in terms of just general day-to-day living, how much privilege we have, that there's never really been an active war on U.S. soil. Like that's a privilege, and I think that people take for granted. And so we're able to make these frivolous decisions with our political system because we don't know that we're making frivolous decisions, because we just have been bestowed this reality that we think is just our right. But it's not. It's really a privilege. And I think that more people that realize that, it's like, no, like there are countries where you are not allowed to speak about certain things. You will die. You'll die. There's no court system. There's no level of, and it's not perfect here. Don't get me wrong, but there is a remedy at least. There's hope. And then when you put yourself in your country, like you said, in your livelihood, in a position where hope is gone, then what do you have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, this is a very touchy subject, but, I come from both sides. Like, I am Black American, but I do know that my parents, the struggles that they did to come over here, or that they had to go through in order to come over here. And it's, first and foremost, Black American, the reason why you have immigrants, the reason why not just Black, I'm talking about all immigrants, Italy, all that, is because of the civil rights movement. It's because of Black Americans that the country now has this foundation and has these laws, and as much as you have the laws, we don't know what's going to happen in a year from now, what laws are still there, but it's because of these people that we are able to immigrants are able to come here. But I do feel as though, to your point, we, or Black Americans, have kind of got used to it. It's become a norm for them now. So when they operate and they want to move into a space where, this diaspora wars and, Africans is this and Caribbeans, like, I get so upset at those things because I'm like, we are fighting each other.
Yeah.
This is not where we need to be. And I get mad on the flip side where, immigrants and people are saying, oh, Americans have no culture and things like that. And I'm like, how are we even having this conversation?
Yeah.
And why are we not banding together to ultimately create a unity and a community where all of us can continue to grow on both sides? How can we utilize the benefits of living in America, to help everybody on the other side? Or how are we able to, kind of learn from these countries and these immigrants and things like that? So, but I always feel like it's systemic. I always feel as though these issues that we have do not come deeply from us. It's because we're in a society where they feel as though one person can only be this person if they look like this. And now everyone's vying to be that person, where it's like, I always say this, when I see someone that look like me come into a space, I'm nice to everybody, but there's a little special niceness. I got my brother,
absolutely,
my sister, and that's a real thing. And let's be honest about it. And it's okay.
It's okay. Someone gonna be the ops though. Someone gonna be the ops.
You know what? I did a thread where I said some of the gatekeepers look like us.
They do. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
And it's very unfortunate, and you have to be honest about that. And I think that more people that look like us need to be reaching down and making sure that we're helping people to come up and to grow, especially the younger people,
Yeah, I agree with that. Very well said. I want to switch over to you, right? So you talked about politics. We've talked about the Quintessential Gentleman, right? How the idea came along. What is it that you still worry about? Or what is it that gives you anxiety? Or what does this require from you day to day of Eric to continue to produce, to push out, and to really do this purposeful work?
Yeah. So it's Black media. I'm a big component of support Black media. Clearly I'm a part of Black media, but I also am intentional about supporting organizations and people that tell our stories. So again, that's why when it comes to TV, film, I love to support, the brothers and the sisters that are creating our content. But I don't think people realize that our media is under attack. Back when, during the pandemic, we were forced, Black Lives Matter, and now you had all of these news organizations having their little subsets or their little departments specifically to the Black voice, right? If you go and look, those aren't there anymore. So where are you now getting your content that talks specifically to your lived experience of people that look like us? And it's the Black media. However, Black media deals with underfunding. We don't have as a Black person, be an entrepreneur, being able to I can have 10 years experience. This is what I want to do. I want to expand, and I go to a bank and can't get a loan, right? Although you'll have somebody that doesn't look like me who has an idea, here's a check, here's $5, So, and then we go to advertising. Advertising dollars are not spent with Black media. However, the idea is that, okay, Black media has, they may not have the numbers, but we have the impact. The things that we do constantly are replicated or are used or are, being associated with other means of creating content and creating dollars. However, the originator, the authenticator, the person who created it does not see that. So the things that keep me up at night are the support of Black media and being able to be in that space and being able to continue the conversations and telling the stories that I'm telling, and also to tell it at a high level.
Right.
You know, when I want to partner with these brands or partner with studios and things like that, here's X amount of dollars that I need in order to make this happen at the way we want it to happen, but you're struggling to try to get those dollars or try to get that sponsorship money and things like that. So that's the biggest piece of me now. I think there's a conversation around AI. AI is very beneficial. However, what people don't realize, especially talking about media, is that now when you go to Google and you type something up, if you see there's this AI overview in chat, it now gives you everything you need, and now you no longer have to go to the website to look at it. What happens is that, okay, the AI took what I had in my website, put it on an overview. Now the person is not clicking on the website, which means I now don't have the traffic, which means I now don't have the advertising dollars that are associated with that.
Yeah.
So now AI is taking there's articles, tons of articles where everybody's filling it across all spectrums, but you talk about Black media, which already had a challenge with trying to compete. Now you're being minimized.
Okay.
So those are the things that are really affecting me now.
So I'm hearing resilience.
Yeah.
So what does it take for you to like have that resilience? Like what does it take for you to continue to
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm nuts.
Yeah.
I'm nuts
Yeah.
to continue to do what I'm doing. I just had a conversation. Entrepreneurship is politics. Going into politics, running for politics. You have to be a certain level of delusional or crazy to continue to move in this space. However, when I get to sit next to you and have a real conversation, you reach out, we in LA having this conversation, I know that it's going to be impactful regardless of if we reach one person or if we reach 10,000 people. That's going to change one person. That could also change the future, right? I get emails, I get DMs. I just got a DM the other day. It was like, I love the representation that you have for Black men and how you're showing us in this particular light. And that to me is enough for me to keep going. You know, I think that when I think about my younger years and I think about how I was like struggling with my identity, because again, grew up in Philly, then I moved over to Jersey where, you know, no one looked like me. I had a subset of Black people, it's majority white people. And I had my best friend at the time was white. And then now I moved to college, I was in a PWI, it was white, but then it was the Quintessential Gentleman that helped me just learn so much. Again, I don't know if about you, but my parents were very strict, and the Black cultural things that everybody knew, the music, the TV shows, I didn't have none of that.
Yeah.
I didn't have none of that.
They wasn't going.
They wasn't going for it. But the Quintessential Gentleman allowed me. I went back and watched A Different World. I had never watched that, you know.
Yeah.
I have went back and watched a lot of these different shows that culturally Black people that look like me knew about it, were able to rehearse it. But I was super excited to just know about the things that were not given to me. And I think that when I created this platform, I didn't realize the reach that it would have. You just do something. I don't have a journalism degree. I didn't always dream of having a magazine. I'm just like, but then when you see the response, you see how people are able to, how they receive it. Even like I said earlier, how you have seen this platform and what it meant to you. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I got to keep going.
It really is amazing. So then how would you define what a quintessential gentleman is?
So everyone thinks, quintessential, right, means like the best, and you're number one, you're above all class. What I define it as a man who is working to become the best. It's an aspirational brand. You may not be there yet, but you're working towards it. Now that may mean going to therapy to be a better person just for yourself. That may be being an entrepreneur, trying to build the best business or whatever business that you're creating. That may mean you being part of a C-suite, or being working in corporate America and trying to make your way up. Or it could just mean you trying to be the best and take care of your family, being in your family life, to be in your kids' lives. That's what the quintessential gentleman is. That's a person who is actively choosing to be a better person than they were yesterday. And that's who it is.
I love that. And I do want to say, kind of what I was saying earlier, I think what you're doing is phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's phenomenal. And I am a hard person to impress. But when I say that, the level of quality, intentionality, masculinity, personality that comes with everything that you do is really seen and felt through the screen. And this is the reason why all this team came out here, is because I'm like, I really wanted to talk to you because I think that you're brilliant in the way that you approach this. I think it's so intentional. And I think that probably in ways that you probably won't even know, it probably touches the lives of so many, especially as I'm in my 30s now and realize how many of us struggle in our silence of our own homes. You really need these things to kind of dilute some of the negative narratives that you're seeing, right? And the things you face only in the prison of your own mind, that not even really that you're even fully honest with yourself about, let alone tell other people. And that eats away at you and chips away at you as you get older. And if you don't have these things to really anchor you in some resemblance of what it means to be Black and successful, like you said, luxurious, and you have all these other narratives, it can really take your life, not just physically, but sometimes mentally and emotionally. I'm honored to have this conversation with you, and I thank you so much for doing it. We're not done with it, but I have one more question. I do have one more question, because why you never asked me to be on a magazine? Can I get my own cover at some point? Okay. I do just want to let you know I'm in law school. Quickly. Yeah, I'm in law school. And be careful what you say, because it will be legally binding. At some point, you're gonna. It don't have to be tomorrow. Okay. It can be one day. But just at some. I think I could be. Don't y'all think I could be on a magazine one day?
Yeah.
He's good. He ain't say nothing. He just he said, well. He said, well.
We'll take your information. Please provide us with this, and we'll share it with our team, because I'm not the person that makes the decisions. But yeah.
I just one day just ask, like if it's like in 5 years, just when you feel like I'm ready for it, just do that.
Okay. So you want me to ask you to be?
Yes, I do, because I don't want it to feel like, because I asked this and it's like, we got to put it on job. So I want it to feel like, no, you wanted me. So no pressure now. It could be truly in 10 years, because you'll be doing it for yeah, just one day you gonna ask?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
We gonna ask. We definitely gonna ask.
I might give you a hard time, be like, well, let me go see my schedule.
I go ask and say, you know what, I'm actually busy right now. I actually can't do it. I'm actually booked. See, terrible.
Wow, this is so sudden. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to do this walk-in? I'm excited for this walk-in. Perfect. You in Cali, man.
I love it.
How do you like living here?
I actually loved LA. You know what's so funny is that I wanted to move to LA for years.
Yeah.
My first time coming to LA was my sophomore year of college, and I was here with my best friend. We were in Anaheim, just like a spring break type of situation, and I moved here. And it was I just found it to be so dope.
Yeah. What's dope about it? Like for you, what's dope about it?
When I first moved here, it was like the weather. I mean, not first moved here. When I first came here the first time, it was the weather. Of course, it was Hollywood, but I wasn't in that space at that time. And then the homes. I'm like big into like real estate. I love how homes are built here, how they're designed. And what was so dope is that me wanting to be here all these years, finally I'm in the industry. I work in Hollywood, have a lot of relationships and partnerships and opportunities with studios out here, so it made sense for me to be out here. And I never wanted to come out here like as just like, how people come out here and they're like, hey, I don't have, I'm figuring it out. And
so you wanted to.
I did not want to come out here like
You don't want to come out and struggle.
I didn't want to come out here and struggle.
What's the most surprising thing about living out here that you didn't expect? Like for me, like just visiting, it's very LA.
Very LA.
I'll leave that there.
Yes.
But I'm still figuring it out. Like you know what I mean? Like what surprises you? What surprised me it's really just a regular American city. But there's something about it.
It's not as diverse. As I didn't realize that it wasn't as diverse as I thought it would be. And I think that there's a big Asian culture and Hispanic culture that I wasn't aware of. I thought I've lived in New York, I've lived in Atlanta, I lived in Miami, and those are all pretty diverse in terms of black people, and here in LA, they're here, it's just pockets.
Yeah.
Whereas New York, Atlanta, like anywhere you go, you're going to see black people. It's very, you know, even DC, right? LA's not like that. You're gonna have pockets.
Yeah.
I know when I first moved here, for the first 3 weeks, I didn't see a black person.
Yeah.
You know, at all. So that was a bit
That's
interesting
different.
to me.
Especially coming from New York, yeah.
Especially coming from places where, you know, so it just was very interesting.
Yeah.
Living out here.
Yeah.
And then the other part is the food. LA, everyone for the most part, when they're here, they're intentional about being here. We
Yeah.
talked about that. Like they are really on they're really trying to do something. Everyone's working really hard. And
It's
I feel
definitely where
like
the money is.
it's where the money is.
Yeah.
And I think the conversations and the people you meet with are so high level. Like
Yep.
I always say, Issa Rae said, you know, you need to work across. And that to me, that collaboration and being able to work with people that they not, you know, where they want to be or high up. However, you're meeting them at that level in which everybody's grinding and making things happen. It's such a beautiful collaboration and partnership and opportunity to create something dope.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think by you living outside of LA, to be honest, before you have the ability, personal opinion, don't eat me up, y'all. But like, I feel like there is a little bit of pretentiousness that comes with LA to some degree, but living outside, and there's a genuineness that I think makes it easier for you to connect with people when you get here. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that in terms of, I will say that I've only been here for a year. It'll be a year next month, right?
Yeah.
So I've had many warning signs of that type of opportunism that people have, but I haven't experienced it. I do believe it's probably out there, but I feel like it's like any other city, right?
But that's my point.
Right.
Because you are you, I think that you wouldn't experience it to the level because you're intentional about probably who you engage with, how you engage with them, and there's this level of presence that you might just exude. Okay, so what was like your first booking? Like your first booking that you was like, oh my God, like this is a big deal. Like the person you booked. Because I ain't gonna lie, when you be sitting there, when I was, if it was Neil Charlemagne the God for me, I was like, oh, he got to see, I was like, oh, you got to see the God. I was like, that's impressive. Is that not impressive?
Charlemagne was that we do really well. I think so. We've been to LA. We come back and forth for before I moved here, I came back and forth. I think that Swiss Beats was a big thing for me. David Allen Greer was a big thing for me. Who else were big deal? Because I think it's something where you're Jermaine Dupri.
Oh, that was
a big
deal.
That was a big deal, and I didn't
Jermaine
realize
Dupri.
it at the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you realize it now? Like, you do realize it?
I realize it now. I think and I have a conversation with my team all the time because they're always telling me to like step back and see exactly what you've been able to do. But it's so hard when you're like, okay, I got to make sure, all right, we're calling this person. Are they there? Make sure the talent, you're doing all these, make sure the photo shoot. So when you're in it, it's very hard to be able to see what you've been able to accomplish. So that's why even early on when you were speaking about these things, I'm like, oh, I did do those things.
Yeah.
You know,
you really can't.
I don't really always pay attention to that, and I think it's important to be able to realize how far you've come. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so like I'm also curious. Okay, so who was the first one though? Like who was the first person where you're like?
That was big. That was. You know what's crazy is that the first big name person was Mike Vick. We did a cover with Mike Vick, I think it's like 2018, I have to remember, and it got so much bad press because this is after he got out of jail and the whole cop thing, or not cop thing, the whole dog situation. And we had so many people reaching out to us like, how could you post him? He's not the quintessential gentleman. And it made me realize that, black men don't get second chances. All right, so we're gonna try. All right, this is matcha. We don't even know what's in it. It's probably original, whatever the milk is he put in there. All right, let's go.
All right,
cheers. It don't taste like nothing.
That's odd. It tastes disgusting.
It don't taste like nothing.
It's just like if you made a drink from leaves.
And why do everybody like this? See, this is why I don't follow trends.
It's one of those acquired tastes, I guess, if you have to, like, you know.
All right, matcha.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that sit there.
I don't waste food, I'm gonna drink mine.
But no, this has been great, man. And thank you for allowing me to see your new city and your life.
Of
I'll always be
course.
supporting you from afar.
Thank you.
And intentionally, also directly as well. I love what you're doing.
Thank you so
It's very
much.
inspiring.
No, for sure. Thank you so much for telling this story, man. Thank you for coming out to Hollywood, and you're making me feel Hollywood. Now that people are really gonna say, oh, you done got Hollywood for real, for real.